Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome once again to Cooking with Kat and Steph. We're going to talk about fiber tonight. It's one of my favorite topics.
Is it?
I love fiber.
More than like carbs and protein?
No. But it's equally as important.
Agreed.
Yes. So we're going to do we scavenged the garden.
We did.
Type of a meal.
This is a raid the garden fiber meal.
Yes.
And some things that are not fiber.
Yeah, but they did come from,
garden.
The garden-ish.
The farm garden.
Yeah.
The farm.
So, welcome everyone. Please, in the comments, write where you are watching from. Please say hello. Please ask questions. We want to answer your questions. So, fiber, really, really, really important. But, as I usually say to everyone, start your day with protein. Okay? Great.
You do.
However, we also want to add some other things to our protein. Thank you.
You got it.
We are going to make some scrambled eggs, appropriate for a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you. Welcome. So happy to have you with us.
From Nova Scotia.
I love it. So we were going to play with zucchini because Stephanie picked this one today. I picked this one out of my garden this week. And so we have a ton of zucchini. I have like 8 of these in my fridge right now.
Yeah, I have 2 more in the fridge, and there's more coming. So we're going to do zucchini tonight.
So zucchini's full of fiber, full of moisture. So we also went and got eggs from the chickens, and I dropped one. Whoops.
Well, she didn't drop it. She just accidentally set it down harder than she intended.
Yeah.
So it is a fresh egg laid today.
Yes.
Because that's what made us do eggs. Because she didn't want to waste it.
And I was like, no, it's not. And then it's got a minuscule, and that's not even where I set it down. So whatever.
You either use it or you throw it.
So we're going to start actually with part of our zucchini. So I'm going to take, sometimes they've got little hairs on
But can I tell them what I'm going to do?
Absolutely. I'm going to wash this. Will you tell them what you're
going
to do? Yes.
So we also went to the fruit part of the garden, and we picked raspberries.
Yep.
And blueberries, and a few strawberries are left. The strawberry season is pretty much done. But I am going to make a fruit protein smoothie. And show you guys how to get the seeds out of these raspberries.
Yep. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so fiber is in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes like beans and lentils, and also in seeds. So I didn't bring any chia seeds or flax seeds because we're not going to use them in our stuff that we're making today. We could. You do have flax seeds and chia seeds, don't you?
I don't think I have flax. I have chia.
So if you can tolerate texture, chia seeds absorb a lot of water and are fantastic. If you cannot tolerate texture, don't do this.
I have a thing when we started this, I hated chia seeds.
I know.
They were really kind of
weird. I know. And now you enjoy them.
I do. I
So
of them.
we're going to use a little bit of onion, and there's a couple of pieces of chopped in here. I'm going to turn my burner on low and just let that start to heat up a little bit. So why do we need fiber? There's a couple of reasons here. One, it's great for maintaining your body weight or helping you lose weight. Great. Okay. Fiber is a component of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are wonderful for you in the right form. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains. They help with managing blood sugar. If you're eating adequate fiber in your diet, generally it can help with reducing the risk of diabetes. If you have diabetes and you eat adequate fiber, it can help with balancing your blood sugar long term. And then it is great at helping reduce your risk of heart disease. So I see a few more people on. Please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, and then please ask questions. We're talking about fiber today. So fiber helps reduce the risk of heart disease by basically attaching to cholesterol and helping your body get rid of it. It can also help with how much cholesterol your body is producing. And so it can really, really decrease your bad cholesterol and increase your good cholesterol. Hey, Kara, nice to see you. And then lastly, it can help reduce the risk of developing some forms of cancer. So specifically, we think of colon cancer. So if you're eating adequate fiber in your diet, you reduce your risk of developing cancer in your gastrointestinal tract, okay? Now, is this to say it always prevents cancer and heart disease and diabetes? No, okay? There are other things involved in your lifestyle that go into this. This is just one piece, so I just want to be very, very clear. So, one of the stats I wrote down was it helps to reduce the risk of coronary artery disease and stroke by 40 to 50% as opposed to people that were on a low fiber diet. So if you're on a high fiber diet, it can help decrease your risk by 40 to 50%, which is pretty significant.
That's very significant, yes.
And then as we're talking about the gastrointestinal tract, it helps with bowel movements. And it does this in a number of ways. So we want our GI health to be very, very good. Fiber in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. I do have a couple of whole grains here as well. Brown rice. Doesn't have the hull removed, as opposed to this arborio rice has no fiber in it because it's been processed. So we want the good unprocessed that our body has to work a little harder to digest. So let me check my pan here. We're hot.
While she's checking her pan, I'm going to blend the berries. I did raspberries and blueberries. I'm going to puree them now, and then I'm going to strain them before I put them back in to my smoothie or drink. I don't know if it's... Oh, look at you. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
I was going to say, do you want to touch the water?
Nope. Got it. They've got enough water in them.
They do have a lot of juice. Hi, Karen. All right.
Hi, Karen.
So I only diced up half of this zucchini that I started with, and it's probably, yeah, it's probably like half a cup of zucchini. So these bigger zucchinis, I did the neck because it has fewer seeds, and for what we're doing, we want fewer seeds.
Right. I'm holding it back here so it doesn't hurt people's ears.
All right. So I'm just gonna get these sort of sauteing gently. We don't want a lot of color. We don't want these crispy. We want them to be soft, okay? I am gonna season with a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. And if you can tolerate black pepper, I would put black pepper on these. If you can't, ground white pepper is really nice because you can't feel the granules of it.
It's much softer.
Oh, I did put a spatula over there for you.
Oh,
sorry. It sort of.
no, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so.
I don't know if I wouldn't have.
Whoops, that was a lot. I get excited sometimes.
So I'm just pushing these pureed berries through the strainer. It will catch all of the seeds. so that I can then put the fresh berry pulp back into our smoothie.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this is really important for anyone that can't tolerate seeds. You want to get a little strainer like this or similar. A big strainer will work as well. And then this is still going to have plenty of fiber in it. So when we're talking about gut health, fiber in the form of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, seeds is what we call a prebiotic. Some foods are specifically prebiotics. They feed the probiotics. So prebiotics are food for the good bacteria. The happier your good bacteria is, the better you feed them, the better they make you feel because of that gut-brain interaction.
Look how many seeds just in that
So
little bitty
many.
bit.
Do you want me to get you like a paper towel to dump those on, or?
Well, I'm just gonna risk it.
Okay. All right. All right. So, good fiber in your GI tract does a couple of things for your gut health. We have two different kinds of fiber that I'm going to get into in a second, but what they do is they pull in water like a sponge, and they make sure that you either don't have diarrhea or constipation, or it can correct either one. And it also scrubs out your intestine to prevent any issues. So these two kinds of fiber are soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is things like fruits. Let's see, I have a couple examples written down here. I want to make sure I tell you exactly. The difference between soluble fiber and insoluble fiber is that soluble fiber dissolves in water. Insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water. So your body cannot digest it. It is not digestible. All right, I'm going to take these onion pieces that you have already chopped up and just toss them in here.
Sounds good.
That worked out perfectly, didn't it?
Yes.
So, soluble fiber is foods like fruits. Let me make sure I get exactly the right thing. Oats, like in oatmeal, barley, and then legumes. Okay? Lentils, beans, peas. And then insoluble fiber, like I said, does not dissolve in water. And that's food like wheat, rye, and then other grains. So wheat bran, which is the outer layer, or rice bran, is insoluble. Your body cannot digest it. What it does is it acts like a scrub brush, and it scrubs you out. You're watching stuff. Yes, those are raspberries. If you can't handle the seeds, Karen, get a little strainer like this. And yes, it does take a little bit of time, but if you do a bunch at once, it saves you some time, and then you can put it aside and then use it when you need it.
Right. So we just picked these raspberries and washed them, and I pureed them, and then I'm just pushing them through the strainer, and then all the seeds. This is the seeds.
So I let my zucchini get a little bit dark, but not burnt. So this is what I was trying to avoid, but I got distracted.
It'll leave good flavor.
This is gonna have a lot of moisture in it though, so it's still going to puree pretty darn well. So we like the skin on our veggies, potatoes, zucchini, etc., cucumbers. And if the cucumber skins are really tough, what I do is I will slice the ends off, and then I'll take a peeler and I'll just peel like I'll peel it in strips, so I can have like one strip of peel gone and one strip there, and I'll just make it like striped all the way around. And if you're pureeing it, it should still puree fairly well. Okay, So with this zucchini that I am sauteing, we're going to chop a little bit and do minced and moist, and then we're going to puree a little bit and do pureed. So we're going to do our eggs for pureed and our eggs for a level 5 or level 6. All right, so I'm going to crack these eggs into my bowl. Yes, the eggs got washed after we picked them up from the chicken because I dropped one.
Well, you have to wash them anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, but just in case anyone was wondering, they got washed.
They are washed. And there were a lot of eggs today.
There were a lot of eggs today, yeah. Okay, so we need both kinds of fiber. If you're eating just one kind, that's a no-no. You need equal parts, both, so that because they both have a job to do, your gut needs both. You teach how to make oatmeal to a creamy consistency. That might be difficult. We'll have to brainstorm a little bit and work on that, Karen.
Yes, we can practice.
We can
we'll
practice.
Have to do a little bit of that.
We'll do a research and development day with oatmeal because it gets a little sticky. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. It is a good source of fiber. So if we can make it work, that's what we will try to do. So,
and that's probably why, because it's the insoluble fiber, why it's not as easy to get. That's the soluble. So it absorbs water. Okay.
And it just gets like thick. It's like the chia seeds, how they absorb all that water and they get that texture. It's kind of the same thing is happening with oatmeal when you cook it, except with chia seeds, you don't cook them.
No,
but
they're so yummy.
But if you get steel cut oats, which are the oats that look like grains of wheat, it's because they haven't been rolled, right? So when you roll them, it flattens them, and that bran kind of comes off. So when you have steel cut oats, they take like 3 times as long to cook, and we'll have to maybe do some experimenting with those as well, because I'm curious to see if there's any difference. Okay, so my onions and zucchini, I'm gonna put in my little chopper because I'm lazy, and I just need to switch hands. That's on low. Okay, and then I'm gonna scramble these eggs in the bowl with a little bit of water. I like to use water because the eggs get a little bit fluffier.
Did you put the water in yet?
Not yet.
Tablespoon?
Yeah, about a teaspoon or so. When you use milk, it does add extra protein, but it makes them heavier so they don't get as fluffy. So I like my eggs. So before I blitz this, I'm gonna let it cool just a little bit. Okay, so dietary fiber, especially the soluble, is the intact plant parts that are not digestible. So the different types are called pectin, which is found in like fruits. That's what makes jam thick. So you usually buy pectin when you're canning jams and jellies because you want them to thicken. Pectin is found in your fruits and vegetables, okay? So then you also have cellulose, which is not digestible. It's the part that makes plants have structure, kind of like proteins. And then hemicellulose, gums, mucilage, lignans, beta-glucans, which is what's in oats. Cheerios did a big beta-glucans ad campaign a couple years ago. And then chitin and chitosan. These are all different kinds of fiber found in plants.
Wow.
Really not important. They're just kind of fun words to say. Okay, so functional fiber would be non-digestible that is manufactured or extracted. So psyllium is a fiber supplement that you mix with, I like to mix it with juice because with water, it just tastes terrible. It's really hard to get it down.
Makes sense.
Plus, it thickens. Psyllium mixed in liquid absorbs that water and thickens. So if you have a swallowing disorder, this can be very, very difficult to get down. If you have a problem with diarrhea, we recommend taking a fiber supplement like psyllium or Metamucil. The problem is If you can't get it down, what do you do?
Right.
So there are other companies out there. So I have Young Living essential oils. I am an essential oil junkie. I'm the first to admit it. They make a fiber supplement. So this is like passion fruit flavored. It's one of my favorites. I use a little milk frother, and I take like 6 to 8 ounces of water, and I take my scoop and I blitz it, because if you don't blitz it as you're pouring it in, it can make little clumps, and we don't like clumps because they can be hard to swallow, right? So also using a blender or a little mixer of some kind as you're mixing this in can really help this dissolve well. Do you want to smell this?
Yes.
It's delightful. Yeah, I like it. And it's got 5 grams of fiber in 1 scoop, which is pretty good. Whereas this guy has 7 grams of fiber in 1 scoop. So for women, we need about 25 grams of fiber a day. Men need 38 grams of fiber a day. So 1.5 times as much as women.
Wow.
Men are at a higher risk of heart disease. Well, that's not 100% true all the time. That's not always true. We just hear more about men having heart attacks than women. Women still have heart attacks, so it's very, very important to get enough fiber. Okay, so eggs.
Eggs are ready for you.
So I'm gonna scramble these bad boys. Low heat. I may even turn it off because it's been going, and I'll turn it back on as I need to. And then I'm just gonna move these around nice and slow, and then we'll put them on a plate. If you need extra moisture, you can add like pureed salsa. You can add a little bit of cheese sauce, like Alfredo sauce that's smooth.
That's a great idea.
You have a lot of options here.
Ketchup. Some people like
They do.
eggs and ketchup.
Some people like ketchup or barbecue sauce.
Salsa, hot sauce, whatever you like.
Yep. All right, so let's see if I can do this right. So I'm just gonna push this around. And remember, my burner's off, okay? Because there was enough heat in this pan to cook these, and we don't want to overcook them. It's really, really important with scrambled eggs that we don't get them crispy. We want them to be soft and fluffy. And you want to cook them until they look just underdone. So yes, I know eggs don't have fiber in them, but eggs are a great vehicle for getting your fiber in, because you can put almost any veggie in a scramble or an omelet. If I had cherry tomatoes or Roma tomatoes, I would be doing tomatoes on this as well. Okay, so you can see here that these are glossy looking. So in French cuisine, these are done. If I let them go any more, they're overcooked, which most people would say, ew, that's not cooked long enough. But these are, this glossy, this is cooked all the way. So I'm going to split these between 2 plates, and we're going to do a minced and moist, and then we're going to do a pureed.
Here, I'll bring them to you.
Thanks. Partner?
No problem.
All right, so I also did not season these. You're welcome to season them if you want, okay? All right, so actually, so the other reason we want them a tad bit soft is because we can theoretically puree these with a fork and with our tongue. Theoretically.
Yes. So there are 2 schools of thoughts on scrambled eggs and what level they're at. Personally, I think that scrambled eggs like this are already pureed. I don't think that you have to, unless of course you have a little bit of problem with texture. But this ultimately is a pureed texture because it can go through the tines of a fork very, very easily. You can mash it up to a gooey paste. I mean, that sounds not very nice, but
it's true.
But you
It's
can.
true.
Now, when you're doing mass quantity of scrambled eggs, say in a nursing home or in a hospital, they do put it in the blender so that they can puree it.
Yep.
But I don't think that that's necessary if you're on a puree diet that can handle a little bit of textured puree.
Right. And if you're making them at home and you're doing 1 or 2 eggs, get a nonstick pan, put a little bit of oil in it. Trust me, a little bit of oil, even though you have a nonstick pan, doesn't take a lot. Leave the heat on for a little bit, and then when you go over to cook it, turn the heat off. And just move it around until it's this nice texture. Okay?
Yes. It doesn't, you don't have to cook it till it's so dry.
Kara, are you getting that new fiber product? I'm just curious, because I haven't looked at the product list in a while. Okay.
Yes. Let us know. We too will probably
we-
try it.
We like to try new things, and we like to be able to find things that are good to recommend to people.
Yeah.
Because A, we want them to taste good, and B, we want them to be functional. So omega-3s I've talked about in the past. I like that, the liquid ones that are flavored and don't taste like fish. Okay. So let's see if oh, here we go. Now I got it small enough. Okay. So we're going to do this one, minced and moist. So you can see here, these are small, small, small. Okay. So we're going to put just a little bit on the top. Okay.
Maybe we won't have enough to puree then. Do you think?
We're going to try it just
Okay.
in case. We may need to add a little bit of water and a little bit of thickener to it. And that's okay if we need to. That's fine.
Right.
That's what thickener is there for, because sometimes you need to add it to the food as well. I like adding it to veggies especially because it helps them hold some shape. And sometimes if we want our veggies to look prettier, they need to hold their shape like a normal veggie would.
Yes.
So sometimes thickener is absolutely necessary when you're pureeing veggies and putting them on a plate. Okay. Yeah, we're going to need to add a little bit of water. Okay. So I talked about the prebiotics being the non-digestible food substances that help the bacteria in your gut. So these are things like inulin, which is a type of fiber. Bananas, artichokes, onions. These are good sources. Is it really doing this again? I did charge it. It's charged all the way. Maybe my blender's just broken. That would be a bummer.
Kat, I think your blender's
my
broken.
Blender's busted. That's a bummer. Yep, my blender's a goner. Okay, well, too bad.
Please.
We try.
We have something that we
We-
can use.
We try the next step. I don't know
I
how
have
that would have
a
happened.
plug-in Ninja,
Perfect.
a small Ninja that will.
Tolerate what we're trying to do.
Well, it will work
Probably.
great. It just plugs in. So we've always used our. You're missing.
I missed. Sorry.
We've always used our blend jets because they're portable, and we like giving you options that you can take with you no matter where you go. I am a Ninja fan.
Yeah.
So if you're doing these things at home, this little Ninja, I have a big Ninja also, but this little Ninja is perfect for small amounts.
Yep. Things happen. Here's the thing. You gotta go with what works. So more water. Okay. So there are other types of fiber that we can get from like seaweed and algae, and sometimes those are added to foods to increase their fiber content as well. And then lignin is the type of fiber that's found in flax seeds, and it's like a woody substance that is really, really not digestible.
I don't remember how loud this is, so.
It's pretty loud. Cover your ears. Is it pureed pretty good?
Well, it's still got chunks.
Give it another spin.
Okay.
It's loud. Plug your ears, everybody. Okay, so disclaimer. If it's not pureed all the way, that's fine. If you're at home, puree it until it's to the texture that you need.
That it works for you. Now this blender, I could keep going. I don't know what it looks like, honestly.
I don't think we need to. I think
it will, if in doubt, blend again. I know that doesn't rhyme, but.
So, well, it's kind of our saying. Like, when in doubt, blend again.
It looks pretty smooth.
It looks pretty smooth to me, too. Yeah, just pour it right on there. It's going to be a beautiful sauce. Okay?
Oh, it's so pretty.
All right.
Can't wait to
so
taste
here's our pureed egg. Okay, so shall we taste test?
Yes.
So side effects of fiber: gas, bloating.
And especially if you're adding fiber to your diet, add slowly.
Add slowly.
And expect maybe a little bit of bloating until your body gets used to.
And the amount of fiber that you're putting in your body is directly correlated to the amount of water that you need to put in your body.
Oh,
so
never knew that.
If you're putting in too much fiber and not enough water, you're gonna have abdominal symptoms. Okay?
Oh, that's yummy.
Is it yummy? Is it nice and soft and?
It's absolutely minced and moist. Watch this. I can mash it. All the little pieces that were in the blender.
So I do need to chew a little bit, but I can basically maneuver it with my tongue and squish it on the top of my mouth. So I don't know that I would need to chew this if you don't have teeth or if you have dentures that don't quite fit. Like, this would still be an appropriate.
Yeah.
And then if you need to wash a little bit down, make sure you have your water or your milk or your juice or whatever you're washing it down with. So that's, and the flavor's good.
The flavor is really good, even though the eggs don't have any
seasoning.
This sauce has really.
Okay. Is zucchini sauce a winner?
Yes.
I'm a fan of that.
A little garlic would have been good in that too.
And I did garlic salt and garlic powder.
You did, okay.
And the onion.
So definitely got an onion flavor.
Raw garlic that had been cooked with the onion and the zucchini until it was soft would have added tremendous flavor as well. Garlic and onion are some of those really good prebiotics that are going to feed those good bacteria in your gut. Okay? Ooh, gosh, I lost one. Sorry. So, couple of do's. Eat a variety of foods and a variety of fiber. So you need fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. If you can tolerate seeds, add seeds. If you can't tolerate seeds, don't eat seeds. Okay? Flax seeds, if you can get them ground with like a coffee grinder, that's how I grind mine at home, is great because you can typically add them in. Like, if I wanted to add flax seeds to this sauce, I would have cooked the zucchini and the onion, put it in the blender with the water, and added the flax seeds and then pureed it.
Gotcha.
So you could add flax seeds if you can handle a little bit of texture. So eat a variety. You want to eat both soluble and insoluble fiber. And you need to drink enough water. So if you can't physically get enough water in, I know I'm parched as I'm saying that. This is the second time today I've said that. Drink enough water, and I haven't had enough water today. You need to drink enough water because if you're eating too much fiber and not enough water, you're going to have symptoms.
You'll feel it.
You will feel it. So fiber is great for addressing diarrhea, and fiber is great for addressing constipation. Now, if you have a medical diagnosis of something called diverticulosis, and then you have a flare, so you're having a lot of pain, diarrhea, potentially some incontinence related to this, which means it comes out without you wanting it to, it's likely that you have an ulcer, and we want you to have low fiber, like 8 grams or less a day, to treat this condition called diverticulitis. Now, if you're low fiber and your gut starts to heal, we want you to gradually increase fiber so that it can protect your gut from that happening again. Okay? So the don'ts: don't eat no fiber, and don't eat too much fiber, and don't increase all at once.
Yes.
Because
slowly.
It will hurt. You will feel it. Like people who go and eat like a whole head of broccoli, and they don't normally do that, they end up with some severe symptoms. Right? It's not pleasant and it hurts. So yes, you have gas, but it's also painful. So be very, very conscientious of how much you're eating and how much you usually eat. Increase incrementally. What brand? Oh yeah. Okay. I buy whatever flax seeds are available, and then I put them in the fridge, and I grind them when I need them in my coffee grinder. So.
Oh, you gave me flax. That's why you know I have some. It's in my freezer.
Oh yeah.
Look, my brain's not
it's all
working
right
today.
Hey, it's all right. Flax seeds are great.
I do have.
Plus, they have omega-3s in them. And then, lastly, don't just eat soluble fiber, and don't just eat insoluble fiber. You have to eat both. Yes, you have to eat both. So, I'm excited for this smoothie.
Okay, so for those that have just recently joined us, what I did was I took some freshly picked raspberries and blueberries. I didn't do the strawberries because there's very few left, and I filled my blender.
Yep.
So I pretty much filled the whole thing, about 14, what is this, ounces. For about 14 ounces of whole berries, and I blended it. Then I strained it with a strainer. It's in the sink. So then I strained out all of the seeds. So the next thing that I'm going to do is add this. Now what this is my Isopure protein powder. It is a clear protein. Mm-hmm. I call it my protein water. When I don't have protein coffee in the morning, I'll drink one of these. This is, I think, 25
grams.
No, 20 grams.
That's
20
good.
grams of fiber, and I need the extra fiber.
Protein. Sorry.
I need
We're
the
talking
extra
about
protein.
Both. Here's the thing. You need both together.
Right.
So, yes.
You're just making a fiber drink that has protein. So I am going to add.
So it's a well-rounded meal if you need this to be a meal. That's awesome.
Right. So I'm going to blend that up. Now we could, if you wanted it to be milky, to have a little bit of a milk, we could add some any kind of milk that you want.
Of your choice. Yep.
But I want to taste it without first.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about this.
These aren't as loud as the plug-in.
They are not as loud.
You bring them to a restaurant, and no one will even know that you're.
Take your blendjet to a restaurant, sit in the corner. No one's gonna notice.
You don't have to sit in the corner. We
That's
were in
true.
the middle of the restaurant.
I think we sat in the bar that time.
Yeah.
And the table next to us didn't even notice. It was pretty wonderful.
This is beautiful.
Oh, it's so foamy.
So this gets foamy. So that's why I did it before.
The protein does that.
Because the protein foams up and then it settles.
All right. So the point of doing the eggs is to show you that the eggs can be a vehicle for whatever veggie you want to add. So you could do canned carrots. You could do raw carrots cooked. You could do a lot of things. It smells like summer. And
Totally
it's completely smooth. because you strained out all those
I
seeds.
did.
Oh,
Completely smooth and delicious.
so if you can't handle the seeds from the raspberries, blend them up, strain them, blend them into whatever you're making.
Yeah. And what great fiber.
So good.
This is very tasty. So there is a different flavor. This one is tropical punch, but there's a berry one that I wish I had the berry one for my berries, but
So
we buried it up.
one of the things that I'm going to have us try at some point, not today, because I don't have enough. I've only got like 3 apricots, dried apricots left. Dried apricots are a good source of iron and a good source of fiber. If you take some boiling hot water and cover your apricots and put some plastic wrap over the top so you basically cook them, you should be able to puree your dried apricots smooth.
Does that work with other dried fruits also?
It should. You may need to strain it though.
Okay.
So like raisins, typically if you rehydrate them, they will puree smooth, usually. If they don't, you're gonna wanna strain them. So there are ways to get fiber from dried fruits also. Take hot water, hot boiling water, cover it a little bit, put plastic wrap over the top to seal it in, and then try scooping those out and adding a little bit of the liquid and pureeing it and see what happens, because these should get smooth.
I didn't know that.
And you can add it to whatever. You can add it to your oatmeal. You can add it to your cream of wheat, your cream of rice. You can add it to a dessert. You can mix it into whipped cream and make
Yes.
you can add it to a smoothie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options with dried fruit, and dried fruits are a great source of fiber as well. Prunes, we all know that prunes are a fantastic source of fiber because we've been talking about prunes helping you move your bowels for years. So
That's true.
prune juice, 1 cup is like 6 or 7 prunes, which seems like a lot. So there's a reason that it helps if you're having, but you may have some digestive discomfort if you drink a cup of prune juice and you're not used to getting that much fiber all at once. You may have some symptoms. You may have diarrhea afterwards. So lastly, I wanted to show our, we've worked with chickpea pasta and lentil pasta before. These puree pretty darn well.
Yes, they do. We overcook them.
So 2 ounces, and I believe that's 2 ounces dried, is 8 grams of fiber. Yeah, it's significant.
Yeah.
So if you go from eating regular pasta to eating this, you may feel it. So make sure you have enough fluid on the side. So once again, do's of fiber, eat a variety, drink enough water, make sure you get lots of different fruits and vegetables, insoluble and soluble, increase slowly. Don'ts are all the opposites of those things. Good stuff?
Yes.
We have a nice little feast here too, and now we have to figure
So,
out what to do with the rest of these zucchinis.
Yeah.
I think there's bread in our future.
There is.
And you can, zucchini cooks well into zucchini bread and gets really soft, so you don't even know it's there. So you can technically puree or make like a dessert slurry with a little bit of milk of your choice, and then your zucchini bread, and it should go down pretty well too.
That's a great idea.
Mark says acacia fiber. Oh, I've heard about this. That's awesome. And it doesn't have any taste. That's really fantastic. I've heard about this. I've heard a couple of people using it. I myself haven't tried it, but I think that's a really great option as well. And especially to put it in your smoothie.
Yes.
Just increase the amount of fiber.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you could make this very smoothie and add protein. That fiber I'm getting.
I know, because we
add that fiber to it, and it would be that much more fiber available to you.
So you can technically make a sauce out of any veggie. You can make your pasta, cook it, overcook it, save a little bit of the pasta water for when you puree it, and then you can add another sauce like zucchini, tomato, carrot, squash, sweet potato, and you've got this high fiber dinner.
Yes, and it's delicious.
I'm digging this.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And if you need your eggs to have a little more calories in them, you can put them in your blender with like some cream cheese or brie or some kind of cheese that's high calorie. Bump up the calories in your eggs as well. And then add your fiber. You can technically blend the zucchini into the eggs. But
it doesn't look as pretty as your eggs with
I like the
sauce.
layers. Yeah, I agree.
That.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
so many ideas here today. I love it.
I do too. Well, everyone, cheers to you. Make sure you get enough fiber and that you're getting enough fluids with that fiber so you don't have any of those weird symptoms. If you need ideas, let us know.
Yes.
All right.
Contact us.
Cheers.